Hello,
Hello.
welcome to online cooking with Socky Activate with Joanna and Rosa. We have done this video yesterday, but we made a few mistakes, so we're going to try again. We have the kettle boiling in the background, and Joanna forgot to put her gloves on. We are socially distancing, that's why I look like I'm far away, because I'm trying to keep the 2 metres away from Joanna. And so that's what we'll be doing. Today we're going to be making the pepper and tomato soup and the homemade rolls, which Joanna is just going to start telling you about just now.
Yeah, we will start with the homemade rolls. So you will find the recipe in your packs, and there are only two basic ingredients which we have to use, and they are thick Greek, natural thick Greek yogurt and self-raising flour. All the rest is added to your liking, so it could be grated cheese, could be mixed dried mixed herbs, could be chili flakes or smoked paprika, whatever you like, or you can just keep them plain. So we'll start with the rolls. So first I'm going to measure the ingredients. So the recipe says 1 cup of plain thick Greek yogurt, which is around half mug. If you don't have a scale at home, you can just measure half mug of yogurt.
I'm using the zero fat yogurt here because I'm a good girl, and I've been, since lockdown started, I have been trying to eat healthily. So we're using here zero fat yogurt, but you can use full fat Greek yogurt.
Yeah. If the recipe says if there is water on the top, we need to remove water first. But mine is fine, there's no water on it, so I'm just gonna measure it out. So it's 240 milliliters.
Which is about half a mug. It's really amazing that you can make bread without yeast, and we've actually got some that's already made. In fact, I'll show you just now.
That's my yogurt ready. So now self-raising flour.
So you can see Joanna's got the sieve out because she's going to sieve the flour.
Yes.
That gets more air into it and it makes it lighter. Here are the ready-made rolls. I think I'm going to walk around the table and let you see them. This is what they're going to look like. They're kind of dinky, but you'll get about 6 from this recipe, which is just perfect for soup. It's actually perfect, they look like a wee scone, so you could possibly put some butter and jam on them as well.
Right, so 125 grams of self-raising flour. Just sieve. This will make the rolls more fluffy.
It's really handy to do this when you run out of bread, or like when lockdown started and everybody went mad and were hoarding.
So I'm just adding a teaspoon of dried mixed herbs. We are not using cheese, so it's just going to be with the herbs and yogurt.
So dried herbs, you'll get them out of Lidl or out of Aldi or anything like that. They're no dear, and they can last for about 3 or 4 months, unless you're the kind of person that's got loads of fresh herbs in the house, like me. I'm going to show you my basil.
So just quickly mix all ingredients.
This is fresh basil, a smell.
Smells
Just-
lovely.
And when you shake it about, you can just smell it. And that was about 85 pence out the supermarket. You can grow it on the window ledge.
Right, my mixture is a wee bit wet, so I'm adding more flour. Be careful and not to add too much flour, because this will make the dough quite tough and hard. Right.
You just mix it with a spoon.
Yes. Then we need to put some flour onto the chopping board. Take everything out from the bowl.
And the flour is on the chopping board to prevent it from sticking.
And then just quickly knead the dough for like 30 seconds. We have our oven already on.
So what you're doing, I think the camera can see what you're doing, is just turning it and folding it and turning it and folding it.
Yes. It is very soft, this dough, so don't worry, that's how it should be.
I had a wee feel at it yesterday when we made this, and I said it felt like my belly. And that's exactly what it feels like, a wee floppy belly. Now I've got another pack of
I think it should be fine. Right, so we should get 6 rolls out of this portion. So I'm just going to quickly divide them into 6.
We decided to start with the rolls first so that once they're in the oven cooking, we can then go straight onto the soup. And
Yeah.
hopefully the rolls will be ready by the time the soup's ready. But we'll see.
Right, so just roll them out. Shape like a wee balls.
Do you want me to spray that
Yeah,
first?
we need to spray the baking paper.
We did this yesterday. We put a wee bit of greaseproof paper on a baking tray. But what we didn't do was spray oil onto it.
Yeah, and they stuck.
They stuck to the paper. So if you don't have baking paper, just try and put some, even a bit of margarine or something if you didn't have oil, onto the bottom of a tray.
Would you add a little bit more flour, Rosa?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still a little bit too sticky. Just sprinkle on the top. Thank you. Right, so I will keep going with the rolls. Will you tell a wee bit about this
Yes.
packs?
You will have received your packs because you've registered for the course. So this is it, the online cooking with Activate Socky, presented by Rosa and Joanna and Rosa. And you'll have, it's a 4-week course, and each week we will have a recipe. This week, as we said, we're doing red pepper and tomato soup with homemade herby rolls. And each week you'll have a different recipe, and we hope that the class will be followed maybe the next day or the same evening. That's really up to Activate to let us know, but we'll be available to have a Zoom call with all the participants after you've done your cooking, and you can let us see your results, or you can ask us questions, and just share our experiences. if there's any kind of recipe that you're desperately wanting to do after this 4-week block or after these 4 sessions, let Activate know. But we'll be doing the soup. We'll also be doing a week with macaroni cheese. We're also going to be doing cottage pie, and then we're going to do, is it scones and homemade raspberry jam
For this block.
for this block? No, not the raspberry jam.
We will start with macaroni cheese, and then it's
Cottage pie.
yes, cottage pie, this soup and homemade rolls and fruity crumble.
That's what it was, fruity crumble. And then if we go on to the next block, we will definitely be doing homemade scones with homemade raspberry jam, which you can have ready in a very short period of time.
So these are ready to go to the oven. So I'll put them into the oven for about 25 minutes. We can check halfway through and just rotate this tray so they will be all evenly baked. Okay, these are ready.
They're going in at 200 degrees Celsius, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas mark.
Number 6. Right, so now we are on to the soup. I'm just going to quickly clean this.
And I'll take the carrot and the onion, Joanna.
Yes.
So these
Start
are our,
peeling.
our ingredients here. Onion, a couple of wee potatoes or 1 big potato, a carrot, the important red pepper, and a tin of tomatoes, 28p out of Tesco. You will be having some minced garlic or whole garlic, maybe some dried chilli because that's what we like, and some oil. But all of these ingredients are already on your recipe. We've also got stock cubes and pepper.
So to make the soup we need to wash and peel vegetables first. So Rosa is chopping potatoes and carrots, and I'll prepare onion and pepper.
Right, can you see what I did with the, there it is, got it,
Yeah.
the grater.
We are going to grate carrots because this will speed up the cooking, and we will chop potatoes into small cubes.
And this does, as Joanna says, it speeds up the process.
We also need 3 mugs of water. So again we are using boiling water.
And we boiled it previously because when we did it yesterday on video, all you could hear was a kettle boiling. But we are cooks, we're not video stars. Yet.
Yet. You never know.
So, a quick peel of the potatoes and the carrots, chopping the onion and the pepper. Now you can use any colour of pepper to make soup. You can make a mixed pepper soup. You get them red, yellow, green, orange. You can use any colour, but we're using the red because we want to make the soup really tomatoey and red looking.
So with the pepper, I'm just cutting off the top, and then I'm going to press off this stalk, the end bit. Remove all the seeds, and this part the same. Just remove all the seeds. You can do this with your fingers, and then just quickly wash the pepper to remove all the seeds which left here. And just roughly chop all the vegetables.
This is all going into the wee food waste bin. quick wash of the hands. You should always be washing your hands or using gloves. Preferably not using gloves when you're cooking, because you might forget to wash your hands.
Yeah.
But it's really important, especially when you've been handling 30 vegetables. They really should be washed before you use them. Okay, so as Joanna said, we're going to grate and we're going to finely chop the vegetables so that they cook quicker. If you're not in a hurry, you can make, and you like chunky soup, then you can make them as big as you like.
Yeah.
But basically, the smaller they are, quicker they cook, and we are actually going to be blending this soup after we've cooked it. And the advantages of blending soup are, well, the sneakiest one is that you can get to sneak lots of vegetables into your soup. If your kids don't like them, they're not going to see them, because it's all going to be blended into this lovely, just tomatoey colour. So you can really sneak vegetables in there. It also means that the soup's much more easily digested, so that's really good for children and babies, and or for elderly, or for people who have been ill. So it's much easier digested. So Joanna, you want to explain about the difference in prices as well for homemade soup?
Yeah, for this ingredients, like one pepper, it costs about 40 pence. 1 carrot, 1 onion and potato, they are like maybe 10 pence each, I think.
Mm-hmm.
2 garlic cloves or garlic puree, again about maybe 10-15 pence.
Something like that.
And 1 stock cube, again I would say the same, 10 pence. And tin of chopped tomatoes would be 28, so nearly 30 pence. I would say this pot of soup, which serves 4 people, will cost about £1. So comparing to supermarket bought soups, it's very cheap, because at supermarkets we'd have to pay
About £2.
About £2.
About £2 for a carton.
Yes, which serves maybe 2 portions.
Yeah. So that's going to cost you, if you get the supermarket one that's £2 and you get 2 plates of soup out of it, that's costing you £1 a plate. However, with this you're getting 4 portions for £1, so you're getting a portion for 25 pence, a quarter of price.
Yeah, and the difference is you know exactly what is in this soup, and you will have 5 portions of a day of your vegetables a day, which we should aim to get every day. And you can sneak into this soup some vegetables, just hide them from your children. And you are sure there's no too much salt, no too much sugar, because you know exactly what you are adding to this soup. Right, so I'm starting adding these vegetables into the pot. So I've got my olive oil in.
So that was about 1 tablespoon of
Yes.
olive oil. And what Joanna's going to do is that she's going to add the vegetables to the hot oil and then let it stir for 3 or 4 minutes so that they start to soften, and basically we call it sweating the vegetables.
Yeah.
Doesn't it sound nice? But it is tasty.
It adds much more flavor to the soup. Right, so all vegetables are going into the pot. And we need a spatula.
Spatula.
Yeah, or a spoon. Right. So I'm just gonna sweat them for like 3 minutes. You can see when the onion gets shiny, then they are ready. We can then add liquid to the soup.
So as we were saying, you can sneak vegetables into the soup. You could use anything, peas, carrots, turnip, leeks, cauliflower,
Yeah.
basically any vegetable, because once you blend it, you're going to see us blending it later on, and you'll be getting a blender in your packs, I believe. You use the blender and then everything just goes into one big mash, and so you kind of see what kind of vegetables are there, and it makes it taste quite different, doesn't it, Joanna, from whole soup, chunky soup.
Yes.
If you leave your vegetables chunky, because you're eating the vegetables separately.
Yeah, because they are not blended, so you will eat like potato, then carrots, then peppers, not all flavors at once. With blended soup, everything's mixed, so it tastes quite different.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the vegetables. I'm gonna check my rolls. They are getting bigger now.
So the rolls are swelling.
Yes. They are about 10 minutes in the oven, so another 15 minutes.
By that time the soup will be cooking away quite nicely. Now, you never mentioned in our ingredients adding salt.
No.
Now, the reason for that is that salt is bad for you. It's bad for your kidneys. It certainly can give you high blood pressure. It can cause strokes. It can cause heart attacks. It's white man poison.
Yeah.
So
the reason we are not adding salt is because we are using stock cubes, and they already have quite a lot of salt in them. So we think it will be enough. So you can taste the soup and see what you think at the end.
So once you've got your herbs in it, because it all adds flavour, you find that you need less salt than you would think. So as Joanna says, wait until you've got all your herbs and your spices or whatever it is you're using in your soup, and taste it at the end. And if you need to add a bit of salt, then do it then. But I bet you'll not need much or any at all.
So I hope you can hear this. Vegetables are sweating here. So we can start adding garlic. It could be 2 cloves of fresh garlic or 2 teaspoons of garlic puree. I'm using garlic puree. With fresh garlic, you would have to peel the cloves and then crush them or just chop them very finely.
And here are the garlic cloves. You get it in a garlic bulb, a wee bulb like this, and then they break up into individual cloves. I tend to have the garlic minced in the house because I'm lazy.
But it's much easier and it's very comfortable to have garlic puree. So then I'm adding 2 teaspoons of dried mixed herbs.
And the dried herbs are a combination of
basil, sage,
oregano, parsley,
marjoram.
It's a big mixture of different herbs.
Yeah, and thyme.
But it just adds a nice flavour to your soup.
Yeah. And then a stock cube.
Any kind of stock cube will do. You can prepare, if you prepare vegetables, use that, or chicken. I tend to use chicken stock cubes for practically everything, even for a vegetable soup.
Right, so vegetables start to stick to the bottom. So I think it's time for the water. So we need 3 mugs. mugs of water. So as I said earlier, we are using boiling water.
Right, those 3 mugs, as we said earlier, will give you about 4 portions. Of course, if you wanted to make a big pot, double the ingredients. So make it 2 onions, 2 carrots, 2 peppers. Just double everything up. 6 mugs of water, and then you'll get 8 portions out of that. But you just double everything up.
A little bit, like a pinch or 2 of black pepper. Again, it all depends how spicy you like your food. And then tin of chopped tomatoes.
Right, I'm going to ask Joanna to put some chili flakes in because I like spicy food.
Yeah. So not too much, like half teaspoon. So you can always add a little bit more. So our soup is ready. It will be simmering for 25 minutes, and then we will check when potatoes and carrots are soft. It's ready for blending.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You want it?
yeah. So now I'm going to check my rolls. Still need a wee bit longer.
So a wee bit longer for the rolls. You normally know when the rolls are ready when, if you, I'll do this with you. When the rolls are ready, as I say, they will look like
Yeah.
this.
Golden brown.
Golden brown. And a good way knowing if they're ready is, you hear that? It's a sort of hollow sound
Yeah.
that when you tap the bottom. But if you just really follow the time and check with the colour,
3 minutes left.
okay. So we're doing very well here. We're hoping that we'll be able to bring these out in a few minutes. But if not,
We have our soup already made.
We've got the soup.
We made the soup yesterday.
Yep.
So we show you how it's gonna look like once it's blended and ready.
could you bring out the blender, Joanna, from the
Yes.
bottom of that cupboard? No, the other side. No, that one. That one. Right on the bottom shelf. So if we don't actually show you us blending the soup, because it's just went on the boil, Joanna will show you what the blender looks like.
Yeah. So that's the blender. All you need to do is take your soup off the heat once it's the vegetables are soft. Plug in your blender, and to blend vegetables, keep it covered in your soup, and try not to hold this too high, because then your soup will be splashing everywhere in your kitchen, and we don't want this. So it's very straightforward how to use the blender.
So do you want to take that over to camera? This is one we prepared earlier.
Yes, so
I've always wanted to say that.
that's how the finished dish should look like.
Can
so
you see the soup? I don't know if you can.
So the soup is nice and thick. We made this yesterday. As you can see, we have a little bit chunky vegetables left, but that's again whatever you prefer.
Yeah, sometimes people want it completely smooth, some want it completely
And
chunky, and
rolls.
some like it half and half.
Yeah.
And those are the rolls. So that's your nice dinner. You can, if you cook the rolls the day before like we did there, if you wanted to heat them slightly, you could heat them slightly, and put a wee dollop of butter on it. Now Joanna's just going to bring out the rolls that we
yeah.
put in earlier.
Our rolls are nearly ready. They are golden brown, but they are still a little bit soft. So I'm going to give them another 2 minutes in the oven. Okay.
Okay. What I also did yesterday, and I would like you to notice, especially if there's any young people, you can't see my boo-boo, but I have a big blister on my finger because I lifted the baking tray with my bare hands without using the oven glove. So that was a really stupid thing to do, but at least I didn't do it on camera, and I'm admitting to it today. So always remember, wash your hands, wipe down your surfaces before you start, wash your vegetables before you chop and cook and peel them. Use a separate tray, a separate chopping board for your raw vegetables. You saw Joanna was using the wooden board for the bread, but she used that grey plastic one for chopping her vegetables, and you just keep them separate from each other. If we've got a bit of time left, Joanna's going to tell me how much time we've got left.
It's 31 minutes already.
Right, we've got a couple of minutes, and we just want to tell you how important it is when your soup's ready and how to store it safely. So what we have to tell you is you have it in your pack. We just like to explain to you, we've got a whole page in the pack explaining how to safely store your food, especially if you're going to make a big pot and you want to make maybe 8 portions. You're not going to use that all at once. So you try to cool it as quickly as possible. And one way of cooling your soup as quickly as possible once it's cooled, is either to put the whole pot in a sink of cold water, and that will rapidly bring the temperature down. And you could then put them into small tubs, like my one here. Joanna, could you get that tub? I just emptied that. It's like these wee takeaway tubs that you get from the takeaway with a plastic lid. Put them in there, so if you just separate them and put them into separate tubs, they cool faster. Then you want to get them into the fridge as quickly as possible. If you want to freeze it, it'll freeze beautifully. That's what I do. My sister Anne lives with me, so I always make a pot soup at the weekend, and she has a bowl of soup every day, and it's all in the freezer. Take it out at night, let it defrost in the fridge overnight. But the important thing is that bacteria likes heat. So we want to get that cooled and chilled as quickly as possible. You can't put it straight into the fridge roasting, because it would just make everything in the fridge hot.
Yeah.
And then, but
puts
everything,
all the food at risk.
all the food would then be at risk. But we will go through that, as I say,
And
bit by bit.
yeah, I'm just gonna add the cooked soup. We can store it in the fridge for today plus another 2 days, so together 3 days. And in the freezer, it will be 6 months. Yeah.
6 months in the freezer.
Yeah.
And the final thing,
Up to 6 months.
up to 6 months.
Mhm.
Joanna will tell you the last thing never to do, what you should never do, is don't ever reheat your soup more
Yes,
than once.
more than once. Yeah.
So if you've got it and it's in the fridge and then you heat it up for your lunch the next day and you think, you know, I didn't want to finish that, didn't put it back in the
No.
fridge, bin it. Didn't reheat food more than once.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
You can see all that steam. That is the vegetables boiling. You want to have one last look at the rolls before we say bye-bye. Till next time. Remember, and zoom us. Oh, there's the rolls.
Yeah, I think they are ready now.
So they look lovely.
Mm-hmm.
All the more for me.
So today we can take them off. They don't stick.
Mm-hmm.
And can you hear this? The hollow sound. Sorry.
Mhm.
So these are ready.
Yeah. You'll notice we have different accents. That's because I'm from Alloa and Joanna's from Tullibuddy.
No, because we are both from Poland.
Right, so bye-bye. See you next
Bye.
time.
Thank you.
Bye.